be up on YouTube.
Attention, you are now tuned in to Pass the Controller.
Game roll. Round table, show me your move.
Tell these noobs get good and get in the groove.
Gears of war like Sonic hopping the tuck.
You don't want the smoke, you'll get bodied by big knucks.
Come for the character, stay for the content.
Fans from the elite to the civic bind.
Conventions are streamed, the topics deceased.
Tell them tune in, peace and hair grease.
Let's go, baby!
Peace and hair grease.
Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller. Pass that, pass that, pass that, pass the controller.
What's up, everybody? You know who this is. It's back, man. Listen, we got a surprise episode. We didn't tell anybody, man. Listen, it's gonna be a special episode for y'all because we do got a true episode coming out. It's actually a true episode right here. It don't even matter, man. Listen, this is Pass Controller. You already know who I am. I'm McNucks, man, the Saltiest Gamer Alive, man. We got the crew. We got a special guest. I'm so happy because it's like a brother to me. Seriously, as always, welcome back home. Listen,
Hey.
before I introduce this amazing person, man, real quick, I want to go through the usual panel. We got Civic Minded. What up, Civ? How you been, man?
What's going on, man?
Good
I'm
seeing you.
stoked.
Yeah,
I'm stoked.
listen, I know
It's a
you are, man.
Bucket list moment, man.
It is a bucket list moment, man. It's been years we're trying to get this guy on,
Yeah,
man.
oh, man.
And of course, we got Smoke. Smoke, how you been, man?
One of the greatest days ever in PTC history. We're going to be making it and doing it live today here on PTC. Mark, I'm going to have you do the proper introductions for our special guest.
Hey, talking to this guy, man. I've been talking to this guy for years, man, and just seeing the progress and just the amount of accolades this dude is getting, man. I wish I could be like him. Seriously, this man is a teacher, rapper, hero, dad, of course, from our great city, Philadelphia. 12 solo albums, multiple collaborations, countless featured appearances on other tracks, Guinness Book of World Records holder for most songs referencing video games, and the Nerdcore hip-hop legend himself, MegaRan. MegaRan, how you been? What's going on with you, man?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. Yo, that was a great introduction.
Yo,
Thank
listen, dude.
Thank you. I wrote it.
you. Yo, that was great.
Listen,
Thank you so much.
Listen, Ran, I could have said that bull from the corner, on the corner over there in
Yeah,
South
the
Philly and
bull.
all that. That's all.
Yeah, that would have been just as good. That would have been just as good.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Ran, how you been though, man? What's going on with you these days?
I've been good, man. My head's spinning a little bit. I've been between tours and moving around so much, but it's been a really great time. Yeah, I'm blessed, man, just to be able to do this and move around and play shows. I just came from the UK.
That's
Got
right.
back Monday. Did a great bunch of tours there, a bunch of shows, a couple sold out ones, and had a really good time. And then my birthday's
The
Labor
third.
Day.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we're
Happy
going
early
out
birthday.
west. Thank you. We're going out west for a little tour, doing Seattle, Portland, and then San Francisco. And then heading out back east with Cybertronic Spree.
Mm-hmm.
And then back west for TwitchCon. It's just been, yeah,
Oh,
it's just
dude.
insane. So my head is spinning even
Man.
thinking about it, but it's been a great, beautiful journey. The fall is usually like my big busy time. It's like when I used to teach. It's the same thing.
Right,
Uh,
right.
School season is kind of when it goes on the most. So, but yeah, I'm very blessed, very lucky, man. It's just been staying very busy.
Real talk, man. With everything that you're doing, especially the tours. I mean, you got a album release coming out soon as well. You got, I mean, it's just everything. Appearances. You did the, like I said, you did the tour in UK with Shadow. I mean, it's a lot going on, and plus, of course, I always got to talk about your amazing somebody, man. Like first of all, he's the luckiest kid ever on the planet right now. But
Ah, man.
doing all that, how do you balance between just like so much that you do, touring and just a family life, man? Shout out to your wife too, like seriously.
Whew. Yeah, shout out to wife. She's in the other room now. She's like soaking her feet and just kind of relaxing. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's really what it's about for me is just trying to create a situation where we can be at peace and do what we got to do. And then she has time to kind of put her feet up and relax a little bit between the kid and family time. It's tough, man. As a
Mm,
human being, like you're gonna fall short at times, but you got to try to make it up wherever you can. No wasted time, no wasted efforts, no wasted motion. So I have to really like do inventory on my life sometimes and be
yeah.
like, all right, what's worth it? Like what's important? Is it worth the time? Even if it pays the bill, sometimes you got to be like, man, is it worth the time away?
Hmm.
So I really have to take inventory like probably every month and be like, what am I doing that I could be, making a better use of my time with? So it's tough, man. Like I stream on Twitch.
Yep.
Um, I go to studio every week. I'm working on new music all the time. I spend time with the kid. So it's very difficult, but you got to always just be willing to take inventory. And remember that movie Heat, where
Yeah.
yeah, like Pacino says, like, or whatever they say, like, you got to be something that you're willing to walk away from in 30
In 30
seconds.
seconds.
Hmm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I really feel that way. Of course, not with family stuff, but you have to really be willing to walk away from something that might pay well, or that, but if it's going to take you away from the things that are important. So it's very important for me to take inventory and to do my best to make the most of the time spent.
That's awesome. So when you encounter somebody, you just meet somebody and they have no idea who you are, and you have to describe what it is that you do. What do you tell them?
Oh gosh. I'll be like, how much time you got?
Yeah, yeah.
It's usually difficult, man, but I feel like I can do it better than anybody else. So I say like, yo, if you took like the 80s pop culture, comic books, anime, pro wrestling, and hip hop, put it into a blender, that's me basically. Um, I make art based on the things that I love.
Hmm.
So whether it's comic books, TV shows, wrestling, video games, I make art that's influenced by those things. So at the end of the day, I guess I'm a content creator. That's the easiest way to
Oh
say
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Mm.
But yeah, man, I'm an artist as well. So I like to treat this stuff with the sincerity, respect that it deserves. Um, and yeah, so I draw inspiration through the things that I grew up enjoying, and I try my best to let that show through in my art. So
Yeah.
it's not easy usually. I can get it down to about a minute and a half pitch, elevator pitch of what I do,
Right.
but it's not easy. You have to come to see a show honestly to really understand it.
So it's through you that I learned the term nerdcore hip hop.
Ah.
Like you're the OG as far as I'm concerned. Like I can't think of anyone who's really doing that, at least not prolifically, before you arrived on the scene. So
Mm.
what does that mean? What is nerdcore hip hop?
Wow. Shout out to MC Front a lot, who
Hmm.
originally coined the
Mm.
term way back, maybe early aughts, 2000, 2001, maybe. Um, but basically his definition was rap music that was about maybe the life of what would be considered to be a nerd. So if you enjoy video games, you enjoy coding, you enjoy comic books, you enjoyed technology, you maybe had a hard time finding dates or making social connections, you wrote songs about that.
Hmm.
Whereas traditional hip hop was more about how cool you were, nerdcore became the opposite of that. And now it's definitely picked up a lot more cool over the years, I'd say, because anime has become cool, because
Right.
Marvel movies have become cool. So a lot of that stuff is now nerd culture, which was fringe, is now pop culture. So, with pop being short for popular, it's not as niche or weird to be able to talk about these things anymore. So, it's definitely it's made some huge strides because it was just kind of geeky, socially awkward dudes rapping, and now it's people who might be, a little more comfortable in front of crowds or talking to
Mm.
people and charismatic, but also putting that into their art. So yeah, Nerdcore is in a great place. It's really blown up on YouTube and in live show spaces at this point. So I met Shaudo.
Hmm.
Kind of during pandemic when I was home. That gave me some time to really do new research and find out who was out here doing it because I was doing it and I didn't know anybody else doing it. And then somebody was like, "Yo, that sounds like Nerdcore," and I was like, "What the heck is Nerdcore?" And then
Nice.
I found MC Frontalot at PAX. We went to PAX East and we met and then we did a show together. And so from then it just built and built and built. So it's a great subgenre movement, a kind of a good entryway point for people who might not know that they like rap. They might think that they don't.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then they hear something and like, oh, well, that's relatable. So I dig it. And then they start listening to more. And it could be a good gateway drug. But there's always been nerds in like popular rap culture with Wu-Tang Clan,
Yeah.
MF Doom, Deltron
Far
3030,
side. Yeah.
Far Side,
That's
you know what I
awesome.
mean? Like people using legit comic book artists to draw their stuff. Pharoah Monch did, the Godzilla theme, so many things have been done within hip hop for a very long time.
Hmm.
And it just took somebody kind of putting a name on it and then people kind of grasping it.
And so to be clear, it is not music for losers.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Oh man. And the quote, Alex
God
Trebek,
rest his soul, right?
man,
Like
I make a joke. I say I was in one rap battle and that guy's dead. So y'all don't want it. So think about that.
so for those unaware, just to revisit that real quick. So Alex Trebek one time. Alex Trebek was never the cool nerd. He was the nerd's nerd, but he really during those opening segments, whenever he would introduce somebody, like during the warm open after
Hmm.
the commercial break, he would go around. He would talk to the contestants and say, "Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself." And then one guy gets on. He goes, "Hey, I really like nerdcore hip hop," and he goes like, "What's that?" And he explains it. And he turns around. Alex Trebek goes, "Oh, so music for losers." And like you could
Oh
just
wow.
hear it was like the shot that was
Oh
heard
my
around the
God.
world.
Yeah, I
Like
heard
all
Dude,
it.
of us
Yeah, I
were
remember
like,
that. I remember
I
that.
get tagged in that video
oh
every 6 months. Like, oh, remember that? Remember Alex Trebek's savage burn of nerdcore? Like it's like,
yeah.
oh, for losers, right? The woman, it was actually a woman who said it,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Susan
yeah.
Cole, and she came to our Baltimore show. She's from the East Coast, and she's a big
Nice.
fan. I was like, yo, you got free tickets for life, like for looking out for us. And she won that show, so she got the last laugh on
That's awesome.
Alex,
Yeah, yeah.
and she was a great sport. I was like, yo, were you upset or anything? And she's like, no, I won. I made a bunch of money.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, it's all good.
exactly.
And you went viral. Like you get to kind of live forever on that in that moment. But yeah, so I responded to it. I was on tour and it just picked up more and more steam where I was just getting crowds to say suck it Trebek based on the SNL thing. And so I'd be like, hey Alex, Orlando has some words for you. And they'd be like, suck it Trebek, you know.
That's funny because
And
that made like national news, man. I think I saw
yeah,
that like on CNN once, like in
I
their like
swear
human
it
interest
was.
area. It was like a little story. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah,
wow.
TMZ. Like I posted, like I did a little rap, and TMZ put me on camera, when about it, and I was like, I wasn't expecting this at all. I just filmed
Right.
myself doing a response, and then I woke up the next morning, and my mom was like, "You're on TMZ." She loves TMZ,
Oh my God,
so yeah, it was just
that is
insane.
awesome. Did
But
you ever
yeah,
reach
shout
out
out
to
to Susan
Did you
because
ever reach
she
out to
knocked out.
Alex or anything and like
I
say
tried, but
like, hey, what's going on, man?
they filmed that stuff like 6 months in
Yeah,
advance.
right. So he won't remember.
So he probably didn't even remember. He
Nah.
just
Yeah,
off the cuff said it and then moved on. It's funny now. Ken Jennings is the host, who's I kind of consider a friend of mine. I sent him a copy of my book. We've done a couple of appearances together, and um and so it's funny. Like I asked him about it. I was like, "Do you remember when Alex kind of went off on Nerdcore?" He's like, "Yeah, that was amazing, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, it was amazing time." But yeah, maybe one day I can get full revenge, a full circle, and I'm like I end up on Celebrity Jeopardy or something. I don't know. That would be kind of
that
cool.
would be dope.
That would be sick,
That
yo.
would be dope. Oh my
Seriously.
God, Circle of Life.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Well, let me ask you this though. Was it hard trying to get into the scene? Because I mean, we know, like, let's say, nerdcore wasn't I guess I guess prominent, man. Like I guess
Hmm.
maybe in the like the early '90s or something like that. Kids were still getting used to like, you know what, gangsta thug life, rap,
Hmm.
hardcore rap scene. You know what I mean? Now, of course, uh, you come in with a bunch of other artists, man. And like I say, you mentioned a lot of like MF Doom. We all, rest in peace, MF Doom. Was it
Yeah.
hard for in your opinion, to get into the rap scene at the time when you started?
It really was, but I gotta thank Philadelphia for being such a great town where like Philly was so much more well-rounded than I even gave it credit for. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I was coming up making music, everybody to me wanted to sound like Jay-Z,
Yeah.
State Property. It was Beanie Siegel. That was the thing. So I was working in the studio, and people every day would just come in. They wanted beats like those. They wanted raps like those. And I was like, oh, nobody will ever listen to my stuff. And one day I did a show. It was in Philly. I think I mentioned it was maybe at the Khyber or something.
Mm-hmm.
And and I got on stage, and a guy in the front in like a Phillies hat and like a hoodie was like, "Yo, do the Mega Man John." And I was like, "Oh, there's no way I can do Mega Man." I think I responded straight to him from the stage,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Nah, I can't do the Mega Man stuff in here." And the whole crowd was like, like they started kind of going crazy. And then I realized like there is a connection, between like old school rap heads, old school gamers. It was just all part of the culture growing up in the 80s and 90s. So
Mm-hmm.
so there's more crossover than you think. And I think that's what led me to believe, like, all right, I thought I could only do these songs at a Comic Con or at an anime con
Mm-hmm.
and not at a live underground show. But I found out that these people were actually still also interested in those things. They read comic books, they watched cartoons. They weren't, you weren't a thug your whole life, you weren't hardcore your whole life. So everybody grew up enjoying, something that was big at the time. So yeah, that was really Philly kind of showed me like, oh man, like you can be both. I always kept thinking like, oh, there's no way that you can only be this one type of artist. But I think you can balance it and you can make it work out for you because there are more people that also like wrestling as well as like hardcore rap or
Right.
or vice versa, than you think. So yeah, it's just finding those people, man. Finding your tribe is what they always say.
Mm-hmm.
And they're out there, and it took a fateful show in Philly to kind of show me that. Mm.
So I'm
Great.
gonna ask you straight out. Have you had anyone from the wrestling community,
Mm.
from the entertainment industry, come over to you and having a surreal moment for you and being a fan of what you have done? In other
Yes,
words, like,
actually,
you know,
like
yeah.
it's pretty wild. I mean, I probably have to thank. I assume it's Austin Creed, Xavier
Yeah.
Woods
Oh
from the New
yeah.
Day is my guy.
Oh
So
yeah.
but what he does that's so dope is that if he enjoys something, he tells other people about it. So he's talking to other wrestlers like, "Oh my God, have you heard this guy?" And it turns out like so many other wrestlers are gamers. So now there's like wrestlers in my DMs that'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you're the dude who did the Black Materia. Oh my God, you're the guy. Yo, I love Final Fantasy 7. Blah blah blah." Like I talk Final Fantasy 7 with Adam Cole or like Jinder Mahal or just
Yeah.
strange folks that
That's
you would
awesome.
never expect would be like, "Man, I love your stuff." Samoa Joe, like just people that would be like, "Man, I love the same stuff you do. Like, this is great. And I'm like, what? So I have to thank him for probably like putting me on like within that community. But yeah, now when I run into wrestlers and I talk to them, it's usually about video games. It's like we found a common ground and they probably don't want to talk about their work. So it's very strange to me. Like Cisco from Drew Hill, the
Yeah.
singer,
Yeah.
became a friend of mine just on some like just we like the same thing.
Yeah.
And he was at E3 and I was at E3 and I saw him getting interviewed by somebody standing there on the mic. And I was like, I see the platinum hair. And I was like, Cisco, what is Cisco doing
Oh
here at
no.
this gaming event?
Yeah.
And so I stand there and I take a picture of him, like to show my girl, like, oh, look, Cisco's here. And then he stops the interview, was like, hold up, MegaRan. Yo, that's MegaRan right there. Yo, turn the camera around on him. And I was like, wait, what is
That's
happening right
wild.
now? And then like he's like, yo, come here, come here. Yo, I love your song, that Dream Master. Oh my God, my kid loves it all. And I was like, wait, what? So strange, man. But like you start to see these common bonds and stuff, and it's pretty wild, man. Like it's totally unbelievable the people that I've been able to connect with through
So
all this shit.
I gotta give you a massive shout out and a massive man. I gotta tell you right now, one of my favorite Mega Ran moments is when you did the collaboration for Cowboy Bebop.
Oh,
During COVID.
that's like one of the
I
greatest
remember I was
moments
calling
I've
up,
ever
I was
had.
calling
Thank
up
you.
Mark. I was calling up, and I was like, "Yo,
Yep.
you gotta check it," because I'm good friends with Bo Billingsley, because I
Bo
do
Billingsley, yeah.
a lot of stuff as Jet Black.
Mhm.
So, yo, I'm seeing Bo in the video, and I'm like, "Whoa, Bo's doing a verse," and then when I see you on there, I'm like, "Oh my god!" Me and
Man.
McNuts went nuts, man.
Man, that was the
a
highlight
solid
of
moment.
my pandemic, maybe of like the last 5 years of my career. Like seriously, um, it was during pandemic, and that's really the only way that could have came together because everybody was home.
Right.
And shout out to this guy Mason Lieberman. He worked on the track, and he was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if y'all did a rap, on Real Folk Blues?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yes.
And he started working on it, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, something's happening." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, Yoko Kano really likes it, and she wants to get on it, and the seatbelts, and I think we can get Steve Bloom, but I think we can get." And I was like, "Whatever, dude. What is happening right
Yeah.
now?" And then by the time it comes together, it's just like I think it was like 40 musicians on it,
Yep.
Wow.
and we were able to benefit Doctors Without Borders
Mhm.
and donate a whole lot of like money through the album. Like, so that's the best part about it, is that we made a amazing like bucket list song moment, but also we were able to help people, and that's really what it's all about. So
Yeah, because that particular
man,
song is on my workout playlist.
hey,
So
thank you.
yeah, so definitely,
That's
man.
a great track, man. Shout out to Substantial, who kills it
Yeah.
on there. Zed Tabani is on there, he kills it.
Yeah.
Man, that was just like a dream come true. Like that's something, like I can't even say dream come true because I never really thought that was possible. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yo, I watched Cowboy Bebop my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking I'm gonna actually collaborate with the people who made it. Like, so sky's the limit, man. Like that's one thing I've learned through this process is never to like count yourself out. You know what I'm saying? And just keep shooting shots, and you just never know what's going to come back and work for you.
When did you know? When did you know that you like basically made it? I know you're still on the grind and everything, but when did you know it was like, wow, I actually made it. I actually, whoa, and it hit you. Like, how did you know when it hit you? Like when you knew that you were making it?
Okay, first time was, I think when I don't even remember the show now. Maybe it was like a Comic-Con or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked somebody for like money to play a show, and I was like afraid to ask for money, and I asked for an amount, X amount. Maybe I said $1,000, and then they came back and was like, "How's 5,000?" You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like they were like telling me like, "Oh no, you underselling yourself. You're so great. Like you need to be doing this." And that's when I kind of was like, "Oh dang, like maybe this is for real," you know. And so it took those kind of moments where I was like really nervous about asking for money for this because this is rap. Like this is music. I would do this for fun. I would do it for free. But then asking someone for a fee for it, I was like, "Oh, I gotta travel. I gotta fly," you know. And they were like, "Sure, we'll give you 5 times that." And I was like, "What?" Like I didn't even have to ask, like no negotiation. It also set me up because I thought like, oh, that's how it's always going to work. Like, but it doesn't always work that way. People work the other direction now. I'd be like, give me $20, and they'd be like, I got 5.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I remember seeing you live for the first time. It was at ECGX in Jersey. This was like pre-COVID, right? But it was right around the time that Shredder's Revenge was dropping.
Yeah.
You did that track on Shredder's Revenge, and it was that point where I think a lot of us were like, this dude is blowing up now. Like
Yeah.
like this is a big deal. Like when Konami knocks on your door and is like, yo, we need a song.
that was
To
big, man.
I mean, that was so cool. And I'll tell you what, I mean, as like we're all from Philadelphia Metro, that felt like a win for us too. It was
facts.
like
Facts.
we know that
Yes.
guy.
Facts.
That's so cool.
Yo,
So
In fact,
I
we were all
thank you.
all playing. Remember, the 4 of us were playing Turtles, and so it was like, yo, man, we got MegaRan's on there, man.
I'm like, yo, this
we
joint is
were
hot.
live streaming.
Like
We were
this-
live streaming
yo,
the game.
yeah.
Everybody, when his song came on, we all just shut
We
up.
were
We're like,
quiet.
"Oh, listen.
Yep.
It was cool. Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool. I streamed it too because I didn't even believe it. Like that's something where I was like, well, they said it's on there, but watch I get to the end and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, we forgot. Like, that's just kind of my luck. I'm like, oh, it'll be in the DLC. It'll come later. So I
Nah.
get to the end, and then I just like dropped. My mouth dropped on stream. I was just like, yo, that's me. Oh my God, that's me. They said my name, written by R. Jarbo, and,
Yep.
and I was like, yo, what?
That
So
joint
that
was sick, cuz.
yeah. I got to shout out T Lopes who did
Yeah.
that. He did Sonic Mania. He did so many amazing soundtracks,
Mhm.
and really that was that's just the thing about working so hard that you almost become like undeniable in the space, you know? So it's like T gets the job to put together the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
He's working on the soundtrack. And then he calls me and says, "You know who would be great on the ending credits theme? The guy who does hip hop with video game stuff, and you know who's going to get all these references. Who's so the fact that he knew that I would enjoy this and that I would be the guy for it was so great, man. Like, that's when it kind of works out for you when people actually start reaching out to you for these great gigs, and so man, I love that game even to this day. I thought it was like game of the year when it dropped. Like
Yeah.
that's an incredible game. It's so good. The DLC was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just that was the dream, absolute dream, because like I didn't picture that as part of this journey. You know what I'm saying? But then I had a friend who was like, "Man, well, who else though? Who better like to do
Yeah.
that? Like it was you. Like it was supposed to be you." And I was like, they could have got
Speaking,
Vanilla Ice or something. I don't know, but but it was amazing, man. Like that definitely felt like a win for me for Nerdcore, for the movement, for Philly. Like
Yeah.
I felt so amazed about it because a friend of mine was like, "Yo, this game sold 1 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
Like that technically means you're like platinum, like 1 million people have heard you maybe from this. And so now when I say when I go places all over the world, like I say, "Oh, I'm on the Shredder's Revenge. Oh my God, that was you, right?" So it's a dream come true, man. Like I'm absolutely like flabbergasted that happened to me.
Yeah, and then the one thing too, I think you even mentioned on your social media, man, that Shredder's Revenge had what 250,000 streams on Spotify.
Yes,
Recently
it just
too.
hit
Yeah.
250,000.
Yeah, congrats, man. GG.
Which is awesome. A 250,000 is amazing. These days with the short attention spans of people, that it still gets tagged in a ton of like anything turtles related kind of on TikTok. I see a lot of tags on
Mm-hmm.
it. So it's awesome. Turtles is forever, man. It's eternal. Like that's such a big part of our lives that it'll be around past us. You know what I mean? So it's so cool to be a part of that universe.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I can't forget about, Tractor Beam, which is probably one of my favorite songs, man. Now it's
Hey.
featured on, what was it, Clerks, I believe? Dude.
Clerks 3, yes. I got to
Nice.
shout out
Yes.
Kevin Smith, but that happened like not long after
Yeah,
Turtles. So I was like, oh,
right.
this could be the big year, because all these cool things started happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wrote Tractor Beam during pandemic. I didn't put it out till, maybe a year or so after that. But I felt like it was a special song, and I love the video, I love the record. And Kevin Smith, it was just shooting a shot, man. Kevin Smith got on Twitter and was like, "Yo, I want music. I need music. Like,
Mm-hmm.
send me songs." And so I sent him a song, and then I got a DM from some guy. It wasn't Kevin Smith, who was like, "Did you write this song? Do you own this?" And I was like, "Who's asking?" And he's like, "I'm Kevin Smith's friend." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." So I just started doing some research, and it turns out he's like been in every Kevin Smith movie. He's credited everywhere. I was like, "Oh, this is for
Yeah.
real." I'm like, "Yep, let's talk." And so not only did we get it into the movie, but then they did a View Askew cruise where they had everybody from all of his movies on the cruise. They invited me out to perform on that, and it
Nice.
was an amazing time. But when I got that gig, they were like, "Oh, let us know how much you need," and I was
Yeah.
like, "All right." So this is one of those moments they put you in the chicken spot where you're like, "All right, if you price yourself out, it might be over." So I asked for an amount that I thought was modest, but I also asked to be invited to the premiere.
Mm-hmm.
I
Fair.
was like, I need to
Yeah.
be at the
Fair.
premiere of this
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
like you
need to be
said, know your worth. Know
Yeah.
your worth.
yeah.
Know
You gotta
your
know your
worth.
worth and make it work for you.
Yes.
And so I didn't want to talk myself out the deal, but I was like, but I want to extend this moment as much as possible.
Yep.
I could just give you a song and walk away and we never talk. But now you got to send me an invite to Hollywood for the premiere. I get to meet some people, got to meet Kevin, got to meet Rosario Dawson, you know,
Oh, dude.
Danny Trejo was there,
Yeah.
like just really
Nice.
awesome stuff that happened out of that now I'm able to parlay into the next thing. So that's really what it's about. It's like Frogger or something. You're just jumping on lily pads,
Yeah.
Yep.
and
Yes.
you're just getting from one place to another, man. And it's just
Yeah.
you can hop on a lily pad, or you can hop on the top of a limo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's about getting to the next spot. So that's really what it was for me. And I was like, let me figure out the best way to make the most of this moment, because great moments like this don't come every day,
Right.
and you want to extend it. You want to have as much of a memory with it as possible. So man, that was awesome. Like I got invited out, like I had to go get a suit, look good and
Of
all
course,
that.
of course.
And man, it was an amazing time. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, man, shout out to Kevin Smith for that, man. Like, I love the fact that I think for every one of his movies that he's funded, he always seeks out like indie artists to do soundtracks. Like, it's like, oh man, he's a famous guy. He could go get whoever,
Right.
But like the fact that he reaches out to indie artists is like super duper cool.
That's freaking awesome.
So just musically speaking, I'm just curious, real quick. Like, who are some of your inspirations? Like, who'd you come up listening to?
Oh man. Um, my mom was a big Motown fan.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia International, a lot of soul music. So that was Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, always in the house. Temptations, Four Tops, Teddy Pendergrass. Um, then I branched off into hip hop a little bit through soundtracks. It was the Batman soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Turtles soundtrack. Um, it was gosh, what else were those soundtracks? I feel like there was
Rocky,
always what was that?
Rocky 3, Rocky 4 soundtrack.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Yep. So those soundtracks is what got me into
So,
next
so I'm
people.
going to
So,
ask you straight out. You had the Transformers soundtrack too, didn't you?
oh, of course. Of
Come
course.
on now.
Bro,
Come on.
we were just talking about that. I got the chance to meet Vince DiCola, who did Transformers and Rocky.
Nice.
And I'm like, dude, how does it feel to be a literal icon? Like you are the 80s for us.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I'm just some guy, man. I just got lucky, And so at every level, like it's like that, where people are just like, man, I'm just happy to be here. So it really helps me to keep in perspective. Like
Yeah.
I could never like get a big head or be like, no, I'm the man, because freaking Vince DiCola is like the soundtrack of my childhood, and like
Mhm.
he's humble. So, Austin Creed is on TV every week, and he's humble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that just gives me a lot of perspective, like being around like good people. So yeah, soundtracks got me into music. Then for hip hop, um, for me, Chubb Rock was one of my favorites. I love Chubb Rock because he would educate as well as he would like keep the party going.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was a
Me and my
former
mom's
teacher
favorite.
too.
He didn't cuss.
Yeah.
Heavy
Chubb,
D.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chubb is actually he's in the comic books and all. I had
Really?
Yeah.
I need to
'cause-
meet Chubb. I
Yeah,
really
Chubb,
do.
Chubb and I spent 20 minutes talking about comic books because
Wow.
I was
I got to get him
promoting-
on my X-Men
Yeah.
podcast then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him
Oh, snap.
and Kwame, you need to get.
Oh
me and
gosh,
go
Kwame.
way
Yeah.
back.
I
Kwame,
met Kwame a few times. He's been out
Okay.
here. There's
Okay.
there's a hip hop store out here that's basically like a museum, Trill.
Yeah.
And Kwame came out. It's like, oh my God, this place is amazing. And I've done a hip hop panel with him at
Okay.
Comic-Con, Hip Hop and Comics. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, like just being able to be like fully nerdy, like being who you are is so dope. So I love to see that with Kwame and guys like that. So yeah, I think Chubb Rock and then Heavy D and then LL
Yes.
Cool J
Mhm.
and Fresh Prince and folks who could like tell a story were always my favorites. Then later on, people who could like be a different persona. So like the
Right.
MF Dooms, Del the Funky Homo Sapien,
Mhm.
guys that just weren't afraid to be who they were, but also
Yeah.
like to step into a character. And so that inspired me when it was time to create this MegaRan thing. Like I was initially going to have this as two separate people, like it'd be Random and MegaRan.
Mhm.
And then I realized like it's very difficult to do this on a limited budget. You can't be two brands, like, oh, I'll just go out and do random shows at clubs and I'll do MegaRan shows at cons, and then I realized like you got to be that. You just be your full self.
Yeah, yeah.
And people will enjoy it. They'll appreciate it. So that's always like my biggest thing when I play a set. I'm like, oh my God, what songs to do? Like I got like 100 songs that are like kind of close to memory and that are very important to me. But it's like I only got 35 minutes to do it. So let
Right.
me work on the right songs to get them in the right moment. So that's so tough for me. But yeah, man, I like anybody who steps out on a limb and challenges themselves a little bit. That's always been my favorite artist for sure. Even today, like listening to Kendrick and guys like that are able to be other characters. You know what I mean? Like changing the voices up, changing the flows and the concept up, and making you feel something with the lyrics. So that's the kind of stuff I'm into.
Okay,
So
okay.
just a real quick check here. So how are we on time? I know it's like 6:20. I don't want to keep you for too long. Are we good
Oh,
for a
it's
little bit
fine. I'm
longer?
just I can go a little bit. I'm supposed to do a Twitch stream at 3:30, so I'm on West Coast time. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
I can do like another 15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
you know what we're talking before, because I always hop on your Twitch streams and all that too, and lurking, just checking you
I
out.
appreciate that.
But yeah, like I said, first of all, you're doing a great job, being a content creator, doing that. But talk about besides your Twitch streams that consistent on your X-Men podcast that you mentioned earlier. How'd you get that started, man?
Oh man, it worked out. My man Marcos, Marcos is from Baltimore, and he comes with me to a lot of wrestling events, and so but he also does a ton of like press events and things, and so he has a media company, and he hit me up and was like, "Yo, I just got sent the first 2 episodes of X-Men. It was like early,
Yeah,
and I was like, can I watch them with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I gotta like create some content about it, like if
of
I'm
course.
gonna watch it." And I was like, all right, well then let's do a podcast. And so that was how it started. And it was XPod 97. So we were like, let's watch them and then let's put out the few episodes. And then we did, and it hit like top 10 on like iTunes, Apple Podcasts. And like I was very shocked. It was just 2 guys, who, maybe 80s and 90s comic book heads. I haven't read a ton in past like 2010
Right.
when it comes to comics, but everything's been reset and repopulated. But yeah, just like classic fans, just being very casual and enjoying the show, just chatting about it. And yeah, we're on episode 18 right now. And it's weird because the show's not on at this point. So we were doing each episode. So now we're going back to the comic book.
Right.
There's an X-Men 97 comic. And so we're going episode by episode on the comic, as well as like whatever news pops up in the Disney and Marvel world that we can give our little 2 cents on. So yeah, that's how it started, man. He had it early, and I was like, well, let's jump in. And then once I jumped in, I was like, I have to talk about this. Oh my God, it's so good. And so that's how it is. I was saying, like, I'm not starting another podcast. Like, it's just a lot of work. I've started and stopped more podcasts than I want to say, but this is something I'm very passionate about. It's low, as far as like maintenance, because if the show's not on, we're not necessarily expected to do an episode.
Right.
So we just do it if we need to. It's not like we're video game news or wrestling news, which happens literally every day. So you got to be on it to talk about those things. So but yeah, it's been a fun trip. So shout out to my man Marcos for that. Yeah, it's been really dope doing it. And you said being consistent with Twitch. I don't think I've been consistent at all, especially with touring.
I was trying to butter up a little bit, man.
It's the hardest thing in the world, man. I feel bad. People come to my Discord, they're like, "Hey, you streaming today?" And I'll be like,
maybe.
I'm in London, like I'm 8 hours ahead of you in time. Like, it's crazy right now. So it's so difficult to stay consistent, man. But
No, Ray, you got to get because every time you come to Philly, you always see me on my phone up, and I'm always streaming to my Twitch channel and all that too.
I appreciate that. That's what I need to do.
You got to have somebody running the camera on Twitch.
Hold this and run it.
Yeah, that's all.
Because you're right, man. I need to be doing that. Yep. I think about it every time. I only do it. This is like a weird thing with myself. I only film or stream the show if it's a bad show, if like nobody's there, because then I'm like, all right, at least I get to perform for somebody.
Right.
So I'll put the camera up in the front and not show the crowd and just perform. Because it's like I need to pump myself up. I need to play for somebody.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So if it's one of those light nights, is 12 people there, I'm like, all right, let's set up the camera, and I'm gonna play for maybe the 40 or 50 that show up.
Right.
In the Twitch chat. I can have some fun with it that way. So that's usually the only time I remember to do it.
Right.
If it's not a ton of people.
Listen, give the community a free show every time you go on, man.
Yeah, I mean? Like, show.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a ton of content. Yesterday I ran a replay stream, and I was like, I never want to do that too often. But it was a replay of a live performance that I did for Discord that nobody saw except the people that were in that group. So it was new to everybody else, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I ran a show that I already ran. So yeah, it's challenging, but like I just have to always be thinking about it. Like, man, just turn the camera on. Like, if you're going to be working anyway, just turn the camera on.
That's all right. You know what? I'll tell you this, man. When Buddy grows up a little bit, man, make him be the camera guy. You know, just
Yo,
you know
you
what I
are
mean?
so right.
Just bring him on tour with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, son,
Yo.
here's how we do it. We, you know, you want to travel the
Yeah.
world, but you got to
be
you got to
like,
stream it on Twitch. That's all.
I need a. I'm be like, hey, I need a cameraman budget. Like, I got to bring my cameraman.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It'll be him.
Exactly.
Yo, that's brilliant.
Let him
Yep.
get paid. Let him know
Putting
the
them to
value of the
work.
dollar. Exactly, man.
Yeah.
You know what's real quick, Rand, because speaking of, you know, you're a connoisseur of like video game music as well. You know what I'm saying? I got to ask you this fun question, man. Give me your, and I love it. I always talk to these guys about like video game soundtracks, you know what I mean, all the time. You know, I always clamor about it and all that. I'm like, seriously, I'm all about video game music. Give me your top, I want to say top 5 video game soundtracks of all time.
Okay.
Maybe not
is
top
good.
5, maybe not top 5, but 3.
I mean, I can go 3.
Yeah?
Maybe I can stretch, but this is no order because
Yeah.
it just changes a lot for me. Mega Man 2
Okay, yeah, same.
is always going to be there. Final Fantasy 7
Okay.
is always going to be there. Almost said Chrono Trigger, but I'm gonna move to another. I'm gonna move a little more current. And Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Those for me.
dude, that
And-
is a solid trifecta right there.
Dude, somebody, I just start scrolling on Instagram and one of these channels had like a Metal Gear Solid 1997. And it was from the moment you turn the game on to the first few scenes to the
Yep.
you know, that part, the swimming in, the everything. And I went right back. I was like, oh my God, like I need to turn this game on right now.
Dude,
Like,
but you did the actual, you used the beat for one of your songs too. The dun, dun, dun. And I was
I
like,
did.
this
That
guy,
was,
man, oh my God, yo.
Shout out to Kazu. He sent me that. Like I was like, and again, like it's just some moments in video games, like you remember exactly where you were when you
Right.
hear that.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, I was in college. I was sitting in my dorm in college when I turned it on and heard do.
Yep,
You know, and so it just took me right back and I started writing some raps. And turns out that song is from another game. It's not even technically from Metal Gear. It's from this other game Konami made, Police Knots. But
yeah,
they
okay.
just decided to kind of throw it in as an
Right.
Easter egg.
Right.
But it's still, to me, it says Metal Gear Solid. Like I
Right,
think Metal Gear
exactly.
and everybody probably does. And but yeah, it was just them taking a tune that they liked from something else and putting it in there. And man, I absolutely love it. So yeah, it just takes that little note to bring me back sometimes. And like those are I think my favorites right now. But it would change. Mega Man X is up there. Chrono Trigger's up there. Gosh, there's so many amazing soundtracks like that I'm not even thinking of right now that are blanked in my mind. Castlevania Symphony of the Night
Okay, good one.
is up there. There's so many, man. Especially that PlayStation 1 era, man. That was a special time for soundtracks. It's like that jump from cartridges up to CD. Like we were like, yo, this is real now.
Facts.
You know. So it was an awesome time. So yeah, there's so many great soundtracks, but man, you're gonna make me want to play Metal Gear now. Like,
might as well. Listen,
I might stream that today. I
Stream
don't know.
that, yeah. Stream next. I'll sit back with a bucket of popcorn watching that, man. If you do that,
I have not played it in 20 years, dude. That's crazy.
Refresh yourself, man.
Speaking of actually playing video games, I recently interviewed somebody else who dropped this line on me. I got to paraphrase a little bit, but you touched on this earlier about how you budget your time. Basically, this is a person who works in the video game industry. They're very busy, just like you. And I asked them, say, hey, what games are you playing these days? And they kind of scoffed a little bit. They're like, like with all I do now, that my life is promoting video game stuff and creating content and doing all this stuff in and around the industry that, ironically, they don't get a chance to like play games anymore.
It's so crazy, man.
And you being a new dad now too, like I mean, you've got all this other stuff. Do you find time in your schedule to still get a good game in, or is it just like impossible now?
It's really tough. But you know what though? When I travel, I bring the Switch or I bring the Steam Deck, and that's when I play. So I'm so late. I just turned on the Switch. I'm playing Metroid Dread now.
Nice.
Which, I started it when it came out, but then I got maybe 2 hours in and had to stop. So now I'm playing that. I forgot how to play, so I had to start the whole thing over. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's start it over. So I started from the beginning now. I'm playing that. So I fly out tomorrow, so I'll probably be playing that on the flight.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really when I game now. And I try to do about an hour a night. But now, like I was just saying, if you're going to be working, make the work something that can find some fun in. So if I'm streaming 2 hours a day, that's when I'm going to play a game. You know what I mean? Like that's when I play. So Monday I do a Mega Man or a Mario. Tuesday I play some music or I do music editing and stuff, you know. So each day I try to do something that's gonna keep me interested. So at the end of the night, I used to play about an hour usually. After I put the kid to bed, I'll play what am I playing right now? Final Fantasy 7
Okay.
Rebirth
Yep.
Same.
or like a quick game of Fortnite, something kind of mindless that I can just get in and get out on. Um, I'm still playing Hi-Fi Rush, which
Oh,
I
good
really
soundtrack.
enjoyed.
Yeah.
Another great
That's top
soundtrack.
three. Yeah, for me. Yep.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so good. So I'm still playing through that. Like, so I can put in about an hour a day on a game. And I like to keep some games off stream, so it's just my game to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, those are yeah. So then I make the time. I make the time. So it's I saw a funny meme about that, like how we as adults we torture ourselves. We put a kid to bed and then we stay up 2 hours watching TV, playing a game,
Hmm.
whatever. Now you're tired the next day, and then you got to do it all over again. The kid is up, bushy, bright-eyed at 6 in the morning, and now you got to start your day. And you're like, oh, why did I stay up till 3 playing a video game? You know, but we do it to ourselves.
Mhm.
So it's tough to have to do that. But for me, travel is really the only time I can get gaming in.
Gotcha. How about the Yumble buddy too? Has he started his gaming journey as well?
You
Or
know, I started, he likes Mario
okay.
because he likes the Mario movie. So I put on a Mario game, but then he doesn't get into it. He gets
Yeah.
kind of bored quick. But what he does like is Untitled Goose Game because,
Nice.
Nice.
it's
It's
calm,
funny.
it's funny. You don't
Yeah.
like die or anything. You're just walking and he likes just hitting the honk button. Honk, honk, honk,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, anything like that he can just play like freely, where there's no like rush, no speed, no timer, where you can just enjoy it. And so he likes just running around in that game.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember like a time where me and my dad introduced me to multiplayer games. We played. My first multiplayer experience was with my dad playing Super C, and that's when I became a
Mm,
huge Contra fanatic.
mm,
Was because of my dad. You know what I mean? So it's
that's
like, and
awesome.
I see Buddy. I'm like, that's why Buddy's such a lucky kid because having you as a pop and all that too. I was like, it feels
I
like the
try. I
same
was like,
thing.
he's almost 3, so he'll be 3 in another month. So
Oh
I
man.
feel like it's a little early
Nice.
for games, but I
Oh, for
feel
sure,
like
for sure.
I can, at least show him a little bit.
Mm.
But yeah, he's so curious. Like he just loves getting his hand on anything. So I think he'll be a gamer soon enough.
Oh, absolutely,
Nice.
man. Absolutely.
So
We'll get him on the show next time, man. So that's
Ah,
a
there you
few
go.
years for sure. I'm sorry,
so
go ahead, Sid.
last question, because I
Hmm.
know we've hit our time here, and first of all, we just want to thank you again for all the time you've given us, man.
Oh,
It's
of
Facts.
been
course, man.
absolutely amazing. Last question, and I gotta know, what's a dream collaboration for you, or what's like a
Ooh,
dream
that's a good
project?
question.
Wow. You know what? Being from Philly, I'm gonna keep it Philly all the way. A dream collaboration for me is me, Black Thought of the
Mm,
Roots, and Jill Scott on the chorus.
mm,
That is perfection. But you know what? We'll flip it. We make like a children's song. It'll be about, standing up for yourself or just being proud of who you are or something cool like that. And that is my ultimate dream is a track like that.
that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I would like to do something like that. Yeah, because now that I'm in this children's mode, I'm always thinking about how like what can work best within a kid's song, sense. So yeah, I would love to do that because it would be something different from all of us.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to
Make it
Hmm.
happen, man.
Buddy's Magic Toy Box too. That your album
Yeah.
that was number
Oh,
2 on
speaking
Billboard's.
of,
Yeah.
I haven't even announced this yet,
Hmm.
but got a little exclusive for y'all.
Let's
Um,
go.
Okay.
yeah. So as of midnight tonight, there will be a new release. Buddy's Magic Remixes is coming
Ooh.
out. It's a surprise drop.
What?
There's 6 new songs that are from the Buddy's Toy Box sessions and remixes. So more kids jams are coming very soon. The first
Oh
song is
my
about
God.
libraries, and that is on Spotify right now. But yeah, 6 tracks. There's a remix to Recess, remix to Give Me the Fruit, and a couple of new jams that you will love, the kids will love, everybody will love. Buddy's Magic
That's
Remixes,
awesome.
a surprise drop
Let's
from my boy.
go.
Nice.
You heard it here
What?
first on PTC. Go get it
That's
now
awesome.
on Spotify. Seriously,
Exclusive.
listen, I enjoy it, man.
And
My
then
little niece and nephew.
we're gonna
Mhm.
be seeing you at RetroCon.
That's
I
right.
think in just over a
Yes.
week you're gonna be at RetroCon. That's a sold out show. That's gonna be in Oaks, PA.
Yeah.
amazing. And
I miss
Cybertronix
that
3.
place. I used to go there for too many games, so that's
Yeah.
like one of my favorite spots to be. So I'm looking forward to it. Cybertronic Spree, they're great.
Yeah.
They're great friends. We play shows
Yeah.
together in Canada as well as in the US. So yeah, I will be on tour with those guys. So we're gonna transform and roll out.
That is awesome.
Dude. I
Cool.
can't wait to see that, dude. Well, my buddies, Sib's going to see that. I'll be in every convention, man. So,
Okay.
listen, I see you all the time. Every time you come to Philly or East Coast,
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true.
You know, so but listen, keep doing your thing, Rand. Seriously, yo, you are
course.
an
Thank
inspiration
you.
for all of us, man. You represent Philly. You know, you represent the Nerdcore community, man. I mean, seriously, all of us that see you, man, and say like, yo, we can do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We put our minds to it,
Absolutely.
man. So,
Hey
listen,
man,
big ups to
anybody
you.
can do it. You
Mhm.
just gotta work hard. You know, that's it.
That's
Just work
it.
hard. That's all. Just put your whole life into it and and hope for results. That's all.
Exactly.
That's
Real quick, give us, if anybody can find you anywhere, just roll out the socials and the links and all that kind of good stuff, man.
Okay, cool. All right. So music is at megaranmusic.com. My regular website is megaran.com. And then merch is at megaranmerch.com. So you type in any of those and you will find merchandise from myself, the X-Men podcast, as well as new music. All my links are right there. I'm on Twitter the most, or X. So just hit me at megaran and I'll come running.
There you go. And
Yeah.
Chad, you can see him
Man.
tonight on Twitch as well too. He was gonna be. You definitely gonna be streaming right tonight on Twitch.
I will be streaming, yes.
There you
At
go.
least a couple hours. I might
you
do
go.
some Metal Gear Solid if I can get it to work.
Hey, to twitch.tv/MegaRan, people, if you want to go to a stream after this, man, for sure. Siv, I don't know if you got any last words, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as they say in Philly, cop that John.
Yeah,
Hey.
baby.
Cop that John.
Cop that Joe.
I mean,
That's
you
right.
don't know,
You
but
can
it's-
pre-save now, but yeah, it'll be available midnight Eastern, so in a couple hours.
Hey, let's go, man. Listen,
That's
Chad,
cool.
we Chad's excited, man. Listen, MegaRan, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man. It feels like you're back home, so welcome back home again. You know what I
thank you.
mean? Even though you're always in Arizona, I don't know why you're there. Come back home to Philly, man.
I know. I miss it out there.
Seriously,
I really do. I
man.
miss it.
But we appreciate you for being on, man. So much love to you, man. And
Eh.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ray.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I'll be back. I'll see some of you at RetroCon.
Yes, sir.
And the rest I'll see you around, I'm
Yes,
sure.
sir. So
right.
listen, chat for Spoke, for Civ, for Rand, I'm McNux. This has been Pass the Controller. Please be safe, be well, and as always, people, get good.
I don't know how to say this, so I'ma just say it, that you're my favorite. Even underwater, I'm enchanted by your fragrance. You're nothing to play with. Won't you be my baby? Or maybe we can get up out of this
Of course,
land
thank you so
and
much.
maybe get a bite somewhere by there.
Anytime.
Even though she knew the truth about Rand, I had a feeling she wouldn't understand. Yo, I got a chance. I thought I was in love before, but I love you more. So baby, come aboard and go away with me, so I can make you see what you mean to me, and baby, we can be
Okay, cool. All
free.
right. Megaran, thanks again, man.
Of course, y'all. Thank you. Always good to see you, man. All right, thanks, guys. Send me a link to this. I'll
Just
see
you
you.
seem
Get
like
it out
every
there.
couple years I get that feeling like I'm about to hit that ceiling. But I can't cause it's non with spikes, and when I reached the land and it was time to fight, I couldn't do it, punked out like Ashton's victim. You started singing and I had to listen. It was lovely what you sang, the pushes came. All of a sudden the mission changed, insane. She told me about her true purpose. She used to save victims that fell through the surface. A few days ago the contract expired, and she was scheduled to be thrown into the fire. And while they gave her a reason to live, so now she gotta do what he says. She shed a tear and said, you don't understand, I gotta stick to the plan, I owe everything to this man. So please, MegaRan, don't take it personal, cause it hurts, I know, I'll make it worse, you know. But he saved me, baby, to turn my back on Wiley, you'd be just plain crazy. She said it's the only way it can end, let the battle begin, man, we can't be friends. So my heart sunk slow as the lair door closed. Through the mega buster, cause it's time to roll, here we go. I thought I was in love before, but I love you more. So baby, come aboard and go away with me, so I can make you see what you mean to me, and baby, we can be free. Oh, under the sea. Oh, just you and me. So the battle was on and it was fierce. She hit me in the side and left the armor pierced. On her command, the fishes attacked me. I cocked the mega buster and hit him exactly. But the battle took a turn that was odd. Every time I fired a shot, she didn't dodge. She She took each blast from the arm cannon, smiled at me as every shot was landing. At first I didn't know what she was planning, and suddenly I started understanding. So I think she letting me win, giving me what I need so I can get to the end. By the 17th hit, she began to stagger, fell to the ground, so I ran and grabbed her. Looked her in the eyes, she tried to laugh, pulled me close and handed me her staff. I said I wish I didn't have to be like this. I'm thinking he might miss her if she be my miss. She said, don't be foolish, you gotta do this. Let the whole city know what the truth is. Boy, you got stuff to do. I said, girl, I would've gave it all up for you. I feel invincible when I'm holding you, but as far as love goes, I'm 0 for 2. I thought I was in love before, but I love you more. So baby, come aboard and go away with me so I can make you see what you mean to me. And baby, we can be